Whether coordinated or uncoordinated, Anabaptist evangelism depended as much on the exemplary lifestyle of the evangelists as on their words. Those who interrogated them were puzzled and disturbed by their evident integrity, gentleness, and upright lives, in contradiction of the assumed wickedness of all heretics. In his work against the terrible errors of the Anabaptists in 1582, Franz Agricola, a Catholic interrogator, wrote about the Anabaptists in some confusion. As concerns their outward public life, they are irreproachable. No lying, deception, swearing, strife, harsh language, no intemperate eating and drinking, no outward personal display is found among them, but humility, patience, uprightness, neatness, honesty, temperance, straightforwardness, in such measure that one would suppose that they had the Holy Spirit of God. Agricola knew heretics could not really have the Spirit of God in this way, so he was forced to conclude that some great deception was involved. Their outward life had to be concealing inner wickedness. But this remained a troubling issue for many interrogators. Roth gives an example of an official report from Horgen near Zurich as late as 1608, which acknowledged the heart of the problem. The Anabaptists, it claims, were widely known for their moral integrity and their readiness to follow Christ in daily life. There are even accounts of unusually upright Catholics or Reformed Christians being arrested on suspicion of being Anabaptists, and escaping prosecution only by cursing freely and persuading their accusers that they were not really as holy as they appeared. There were doubtless rogues and charlatans among them, as in all movements, but the way most Anabaptists lived was deeply attractive to their neighbours, and very troubling to the leaders of the state churches, whose members seemed by comparison to fall well short of gospel standards, as Anabaptists persistently reminded them. Wolfgang Schaufele concludes, "Countless testimonies by contemporaries, especially by theologians, confirmed that the Anabaptists, on the whole, led a blameless and exemplary life. Amid the general corruption of morals of the 16th century, a group of convinced Christians were living out the ethical principles of the gospel in daily life. There is no doubt that the exemplary behaviour of many Anabaptists gave a strong emphasis to their word-of-mouth appeals, and preached more loudly than the exegetically and theologically correct sermons of many a pastor who could not point to any saints in his church." Agricola's putative but troubling explanation that they had the Holy Spirit of God was the reason Anabaptists themselves offered for the way they lived. Agricola dismissed this because heretics could not have the Holy Spirit in this way, but Anabaptists placed a much greater emphasis than their contemporaries on the work of the Holy Spirit, as we've seen. They attributed their behaviour to their new birth and their experience of the transformative power of God's grace. Faithful discipleship, they insisted, was not a result of striving to earn their salvation, nor a cause for pride, but evidence that God was truly at work in them.